Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going deep into a civilization that's, as captivating as ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia, but you might not be as familiar with it.
Right.
The Indus Valley Civilization.
Yeah.
We've got a stack of sources to explore.
Okay.
But we'll be focusing primarily on the Wikipedia article to guide our journey.
Awesome.
Like we're stepping back in time to an era where cities thrived along this vast network of rivers in what is now northwest India and Pakistan.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
You know what's really mind-blowing to me is that this civilization at its peak covered a larger geographical area than those other famous empires.
Wow.
So buckle up because we're about to unearth some incredible discoveries.
Okay.
And joining us to help us understand not just what we know, but why it all matters is our expert.
It's incredible to consider that this civilization wasn't confined to just one river valley.
Okay.
Imagine a network of monsoon-fed rivers creating fertile plains that supported bustling cities, all interconnected between 3300 to 1300 BCE. And all of this was happening during the Bronze Age.
Right.
The same time that the Egyptians were building pyramids and the Mesopotamians were developing their writing systems.
It really puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
For sure.
It makes you realize that human ingenuity was flourishing in different corners of the world simultaneously.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about those cities.
Okay.
What were they like?
Well, two cities really stand out.
Go.
Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. Mohenjo-Daro is even a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Wow.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
What's truly remarkable is the level of urban planning that they achieved.
Okay.
We're talking grid patterns, houses built with baked bricks, and incredibly complex drainage and water systems.
Wait, are you telling me they had indoor plumbing thousands of years ago?
Yes, they did.
Oh, my God.
And that's not all.
Yeah.
The sophisticated way they managed their water resources and waste disposal, it tells us a lot about their understanding of hygiene and public health.
Right.
They were centuries ahead of their time in this regard.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, we know ancient Egypt had pyramids.
Yeah.
And Mesopotamia had ziggurats.
Right.
Did the Indus Valley Civilization have any similar grand monuments or palaces?
That's one of the fascinating things about them.
Okay.
We haven't found evidence of colossal structures like pyramids or palaces in their cities. This might indicate that their society had different priorities.
Interesting.
Perhaps they focused their resources on communal well-being,
Okay.
as we can see in their sophisticated urban planning,
Right.
instead of showcasing individual power through monumental architecture.
So instead of a powerful pharaoh or emperor,
Right.
could their society have been more egalitarian?
Yeah.
I mean, if they were investing in infrastructure that benefited everyone, it certainly challenges the traditional view of ancient hierarchies.
It's a compelling theory,
Yeah.
and the archaeological evidence seems to support it.
Okay.
For example, even the smaller houses in Mohenjo-Daro had access to water and drainage systems,
Wow.
suggesting a more equitable distribution of resources compared to other ancient civilizations.
So what exactly were the people in these cities up to?
Okay.
I'm picturing like bustling marketplaces.
Yeah.
Skilled artisans.
You're not far off.
Okay.
The Indus Valley people were known for their craftsmanship and trade. We found beautiful faience beads, which are these glazed ceramic beads,
Okay.
and intricately carved steatite seals.
No, steatitis.
Steatite's a type of soft stone that was easy to carve.
Got it.
And these seals were used for trade and possibly as a form of identification.
And I can't forget to ask about the mysterious Indus script on those seals, right?
Yes.
It's still undeciphered.
It is.
And it's one of the biggest enigmas of this civilization.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, what are the biggest hurdles in deciphering it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're dealing with a simple substitution cipher here.
It's incredibly complex. For one, we don't know the language behind the script.
Okay.
There are theories that it could be related to the Dravidian language family, which is still spoken in parts of India today.
Okay.
But we haven't found the Rosetta Stone equivalent to confirm that.
Right.
Plus, the inscriptions we have are relatively short,
Okay.
which makes it difficult to establish patterns and meanings.
So they had these bustling cities,
Yeah.
amazing innovations like indoor plumbing,
Uh-huh.
and this intriguing writing system that we still can't read.
It's incredible.
It sounds like we've only just scratched the surface of their story.
I think so.
What about their social structure?
Okay.
Were they ruled by kings and queens like other civilizations?
That's a question that has puzzled archaeologists for a long time.
Yeah.
Unlike other ancient civilizations, we don't see clear depictions of a single ruler or a royal family in their art or artifacts.
So no grand palaces or tombs dedicated to powerful kings.
Right.
That's really different from what we see in places like Egypt or Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
And it supports the theory that their society might have been more egalitarian
Okay.
with a decentralized power structure.
Interesting.
Perhaps they had a council of elders
Right.
or a system of governance that emphasized consensus building.
It's fascinating to think about how their social structure might have influenced their daily lives.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, what do we know about their religious beliefs?
Oh, okay.
Did they have gods and goddesses?
Their religious practices are still largely a mystery,
Mm-hmm.
but we have some intriguing clues.
Okay.
Archaeologists have uncovered a number of seals depicting various figures and symbols,
Okay.
like the famous Pashupati seal.
The one with the figure sitting in a yoga-like pose surrounded by animals?
That's the one.
Could that be an early representation of Shiva,
Yeah,
a major deity in Hinduism?
that's a popular interpretation. And it's certainly tempting to draw connections to later religious traditions in India,
Right.
but we have to be careful about imposing our own understanding.
On a culture that's so far removed from us in time,
Okay.
it's like trying to understand ancient Greek mythology solely through the lens of modern Christianity.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's important to approach these interpretations with a healthy dose of skepticism.
I think so.
Just because a figure resembles a later deity,
Right.
it doesn't necessarily mean they represent the same concept.
Exactly.
Right.
The Pashupati seal, for example,
Yeah.
could represent a nature deity,
Uh-huh.
a shaman, or even a yogic figure. We just don't have enough evidence to say for sure.
It's like trying to solve a giant jigsaw puzzle with only a few pieces. You can see hints of the bigger picture, but there's still so many gaps to fill in.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the Indus Valley Civilization so captivating. It
Yeah.
sparks our curiosity and
Yeah.
challenges us to think differently about the past.
Speaking of mysteries, what eventually led to the decline of this sophisticated civilization? They were around for centuries. Then their city seemed to have been abandoned.
Right.
What happened?
The decline of the Indus Valley Civilization is a complex issue,
Yeah.
and there's no single answer.
Okay.
But it wasn't a sudden collapse. It was a gradual process that unfolded over centuries,
Okay.
likely due to a combination of factors.
I remember learning about the Aryan invasion theory,
Yeah.
but I've heard that's been debunked.
Yes, that theory,
Okay.
which suggested that a warlike people called the Aryans swept in and conquered the Indus Valley,
Right.
has been largely discredited by modern scholarship. There's no archaeological evidence to support a large-scale invasion or violent overthrow.
So if it wasn't an invasion, what are the leading theories about their decline?
Climate change appears to have played a significant role.
Okay.
Research suggests that around 1900 BCE, the monsoon patterns began to shift, leading to drier conditions and reduced river flows.
So imagine those once fertile plains gradually turning arid, making it difficult to sustain their large urban populations.
Right.
It's a scenario we're seeing play out even today in parts of the world affected by climate change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as the environment changed, the people of the Indus Valley had to adapt.
Okay.
Evidence suggests that many communities migrated eastward towards the Ganges Basin, where we see the emergence of new cultural centers.
So it's not as though their civilization vanished overnight.
Right.
Their culture and innovations likely continued to influence later societies in the region.
Absolutely.
Their legacy lived on, even as their cities were abandoned.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what other secrets are buried beneath the sands of time waiting to be discovered?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I know.
It's incredible to think about how much we've learned about the Indus Valley Civilization.
Right.
Yet there are still so many unanswered questions.
It's true.
What stands out to you as the most compelling mystery?
For me, it's the undeciphered script. Each of those steatite seals holds a story. And I can't help but feel a sense of awe at the thought of the knowledge that might be locked away in those inscriptions.
Right.
Deciphering them could completely change our understanding of their culture, their beliefs, their history.
I agree. It's like having a whole library full of books,
Yeah.
but we can't read any of them.
It's frustrating.
It makes you wonder, what were they writing about?
I know.
Were they recording their daily lives,
Yeah.
their religious rituals, their scientific discoveries?
Exactly. Could be anything.
Wow.
We might find detailed accounts of their trade networks, their agricultural practices, their system of governance.
Mm-hmm.
We might even discover literary works,
Yeah.
poems, songs, stories
Like,
that
yeah.
can give us a glimpse into their worldview and their values.
I'm also intrigued by the question of their social structure.
Okay.
The fact that they didn't build grand monuments to powerful rulers suggests a society that valued communal well-being
Uh-huh.
over individual aggrandizement.
Right.
It makes you wonder what their concept of leadership was like.
It's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Did they have elected officials, a council of elders,
Right.
or perhaps a more fluid system of leadership based on consensus and collaboration?
Okay.
Their urban planning with its emphasis on public amenities and equitable access to resources
Yeah.
certainly points to a society that prioritized the needs of the many over the desires of the few.
It's a model that many modern societies could learn from, don't you think?
It really is.
It makes you wonder if their focus on collective well-being contributed to their resilience and longevity.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
A society that values cooperation and shared prosperity might be better equipped to weather challenges like climate change or resource scarcity.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Indus Valley Civilization,
Okay.
we're left with a sense of wonder and a thirst for more knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a civilization that continues to challenge our assumptions about the past and inspire us to think differently about the present.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
The Indus Valley Civilization reminds us that human ingenuity can flourish in diverse ways,
Right.
and that there's always more to learn about our shared history.
And who knows what future discoveries await us.
Yeah.
Perhaps one day we'll finally crack the code of their script
That would be amazing.
and unlock the secrets held within those ancient inscriptions.
I have no doubt that future generations of archaeologists and researchers will continue to unravel the mysteries of this remarkable civilization.
So for our listener, we leave you with a challenge.
Okay.
What aspects of the Indus Valley Civilization pique your curiosity the most? What questions would you ask if you could travel back in time and meet these ancient people?
Oh, wow.
Let this deep dive be a starting point for your own exploration of this fascinating chapter in human history.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's incredible to think about how much we've learned about the Indus Valley Civilization. But there are still so many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
What stands out to you as like the most compelling mystery?
You know, for me, it's the undeciphered script. I mean, each one of those steatite seals, holds a story, and I can't help but feel a sense of awe at the thought of all that knowledge that might be locked away, in those inscriptions.
Right.
Like, deciphering them could completely change our understanding of, their culture, their beliefs, their history.
It's true. I agree with you. It's like we have this whole library full of books,
Yeah.
but we can't read any of them.
Exactly, and it's so frustrating.
It really is. It makes you wonder, what were they writing about?
I know.
Were they recording their daily lives, their religious rituals, or like their scientific discoveries?
Could be anything, right? We might find detailed accounts of their trade networks,
Yeah.
their agricultural practices, their system of governance.
Right.
I mean, we might even discover like literary works, poems, songs, stories that could give us a glimpse into their worldview and values.
I'm also still intrigued by the question of their social structure. The fact that they didn't build grand monuments to like powerful rulers suggests a society that valued communal well-being
It's true.
over individual aggrandizement.
Right.
Makes you wonder what their concept of leadership was like.
That's a fascinating question.
It is.
Did they have elected officials or like a council of elders or maybe even a more fluid system of leadership based on consensus and collaboration? I mean, their urban planning with its emphasis on public amenities and equitable access to resources,
Yeah.
certainly points to a society that prioritized the needs of the many over the desires of the few.
That's such a good point. It's a model that many modern societies could learn from, don't you think?
Absolutely, I think so.
It makes you wonder if their focus on collective well-being contributed to their resilience and longevity as a civilization.
Yeah, I think it's certainly possible a society that values cooperation and shared prosperity. They might be better equipped to weather challenges like climate change or resource scarcity.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into the Indus Valley Civilization, I think we're all left with a sense of wonder and a thirst for more knowledge.
Absolutely.
It's a civilization that continues to challenge our assumptions about the past and inspire us to think differently about the present.
I couldn't agree more. The Indus Valley Civilization reminds us that, human ingenuity can flourish in diverse ways. and that there's always more to learn about our shared history.
And who knows what future discoveries await us.
Right.
Maybe one day we'll finally crack the code of their script and unlock the secrets held within those ancient inscriptions.
That would be incredible.
It'd be amazing. Well, that's all the time we have for today, but for our listeners, we leave you with a challenge.
Okay.
What aspects of the Indus Valley Civilization pique your curiosity the most? What questions would you ask if you could travel back in time and meet these ancient people? Let this deep dive be a starting point for your own exploration of this fascinating chapter in human history.